Hello, today I'm going to show you how to solve Leetcode problem 994, rotting oranges, where we're giving a matrix of oranges and one of them is rotten. And every minute that goes by, uh, oranges that are adjacent to rotten oranges, they will turn rotten. And in the end, we need to return what is the number of minutes for all oranges to turn rotten. Or if it's not possible, because maybe there's not a rotten fruit in the grid or next to a fresh fruit, return -1 in that case. I'm going to show you how to solve this using a breadth first search. It's going to run in O of m times n complexity. So with a lot of problems like this, I like to just, where there's a matrix and we need to check in four cardinal directions, I like to just create an array of different directions that we're going to end up using later really quick. And this just being up, down, left, and right. You don't have to do this. I just think it makes it a bit easier later in the code. Directions, visited. Okay. So with the directions, I also like a quick little helper function that checks if this direction is valid. And you can do this later in the code, but it's how I'm going to iterate over this directions array. It's nice to have a little helper function to make sure that what we're seeing is going to be within bounds. That function will cover that. Make sure we're in bounds here. Also want to create a quick variables called rows and columns. Again, in these matrix problems where you're referencing them a lot, these can be helpful for later. Keep your code a bit cleaner. So to start off, for our breadth first search, we're going to use a queue. It's going to be in the form of a DQ. What I want to do is I want to get all the rotten oranges and put them at the beginning of the queue. And then we will end up doing a breadth first search starting from the rotten fruit and moving outward. And we're going to maintain a variable of minutes. So for our values in the queue, it's going to be in this format: row, column, minutes. We'll show you that here. So we'll go if grid, row, column equals 2 is rotten. We're then going to append it to the queue. We're going to do queue dot append. Here we will do row, column, and 0 because it's at 0 minutes at this point. So now we have all of the rotten spaces. We have the queue. And we do a couple different things. One, we're going to create a variable called max mins, set this equal to 0. Now we can get to rest for search. While queue, we are going to do row, column, minutes is going to equal q dot pop left. Use the first element in there. And now we're going to check the four cardinal directions. So we're going to go for Rx, Rc in directions. I'm going to call it new R, new C is going to equal R plus Rx, C plus Cx. So now we're going to check into four different directions, starting from that first one. For looking at the example on the left, we're in this top grid, and the directions will be up, down, left, and right. And we're going to check if it's valid here. So here's going to be our comparison. If valid direction, new R, new C, and grid, brackets, new R, brackets, new C. If this equals a 1, so it's a fresh orange, we're going to do a couple things here. First, we are going to take this, we're going to set it equal to 2, because it's now rotten. We're going to take our potentially update our max minutes. We're going to do the max of max mins or mins plus 1. And then we're also going to add it to our queue. So then we can do a breadth first search from that on. So we're going to do queue dot append. And again, for this, it's row in the first index, column in the second index, and then minutes in the next one. For this, it'll be minutes plus 1. And with this is our breadth first search. And now we just have to do a couple different checks. What we have to count for now is if there's any fruit left that isn't rotten. because it wasn't ever adjacent to a rotten orange. So we're going to do this same for loop, and we'll simply say if grid row column equals 1, we can return -1. And if this isn't the case, we can return maximum. Let me give this a test run, see if it's all working. Oh, CX, did you mean C? Let's see where I got wrong. Oh, meant to call the direction CX. Let me hit run on that. Cool, we're looking good. Let's hit submit. And there we go. We can analyze complexity 2 here and see rows times columns, n by n. Okay, thank you.